What's up, everybody? Today we got Jim on the call. He's part of Real Financial's team, and he's been absolutely crushing it with our leads. Wanted to welcome him in. Jim, great to
What
have you.
up? What up?
So I'm going to ask
Yeah.
Jim some questions, guys. He's been working these leads for a few months now, and he's bought a lot of them, and he's bought a lot of them consistently. And when I see that, I know we have an all-star. Looked at his sheet. He's closing a ton of these. So I'm going to ask you a few questions today. Hopefully you guys can get something out of this. To start off, why don't you just tell everybody kind of where you're from and when you started in insurance?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I currently go to school at the University of Iowa. I have like a year and a half left. I got into insurance April of 23. I was doing some other jobs I didn't like. My dad's been in mortgages for like 20 years for the mortgage industry. And I was just like, I'll give it a whirl. Sales seems cool.
Nice. You're still in
Yeah.
school, so you're young.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
anybody can grab these leads, really work them, get skilled enough, get good enough to get a great ROI on this. So
Yeah.
awesome. Still in school. And like I mentioned, you're with Real Financial. Can you kind of
Yes.
talk a little background on that team?
Yeah, so it's with Tyler Glennon, Brad Lee, and Andy Elliott, them three, and it's newer. We're just kind of getting it rolling, and we're just looking to bring as many people in, and I love it. I've been working with Tyler since the beginning, so he's been huge, big
Yeah.
help to me. I talk to him every day.
Yeah, your team's phenomenal. They're really cool
Yes.
team to be a part of too. You guys got some really high level sales trainers in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. We're gonna have a lot to talk about today when I pick your brain here. All right. So to start it off, how many leads do you purchase? Like you could either go, hey, estimated total leads you purchase from us, or like what's your cadence look in buying lead packs from us?
I'll typically do 25 or 35 at a time. And I do that because I've tried doing it where you get more, and Tyler tried it where he did more, and a lot come in at one time. So if you have a dialer, that's cool. I'm looking at maybe getting a dialer, but right now I don't have one. I'll just dial myself off like Ringy. But I'll typically do 25 or 35 at a time. And if I buy 25, I typically get about three or four, or like two sometimes on a not so good pack. But it's just like anything. You have your really good ones, bad ones, and just like anything else. But out of 25, I guesstimate I get like two or three. And then a lot of times with mortgage, obviously, you can like write the husband and the wife, or they have some crummy other policy that they're like a term that's about to expire, but try and get the policy packets out as difficult as that can be. But typically about 25, I get like two or three. And I'll buy them like three times or four times a week, typically three. It's like $2,700 a week.
Yeah, you purchase really frequently. I'm like, I must wait for your
Yeah.
purchase every day. I'm like, when's Jim coming in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it changed a lot when I was like, I'm just gonna spend more on leads, and I kept seeing the return. Um, but yeah, I get the return, so I'm like, I'm gonna keep spending them, and they all know exactly what you're talking about. So it makes like I set the appointment 2 minutes off the phone, and yeah, it's pretty simple.
okay, great. So you're saying you close about two to three out of every 25. If you had to ballpark, is that 3Xing your money? What like
Probably like 3xing my money, yeah.
okay.
Maybe sometimes more.
Hmm.
3 or 4xing my money. Virtual is tough. I'm trying to do more Zoom. Lots of these older people don't quite know a lot about Zoom, but I think if I could get with someone on Zoom, like I'll lean towards virtual. I've heard other people on FFL podcasts like lean towards virtual, and then if they can't figure out Zoom, then you can always revert back to telesales. But if I have someone on Zoom, it's a little easier.
Hmm.
And then I got to get better at like following up with IULs and stuff like that. I don't know enough about those, but I got to get better at those for sure.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, are you currently doing everything over the phone or you are getting people on Zoom?
I'll get If I set 10 appointments, I might get one or two on Zoom. And I just like it because I'm face to face. It's just a little different. I've
Mhm.
never done in-home, but it gives me an in-home feel. I would imagine that's what it's like, just because I'm so new. I never even tried in-home. Um, but yeah, I just like Zoom better because I'm looking at them. I can see the reaction to stuff.
Mhm.
There's less credibility objections if there are any. And I just like it. There's like nowhere to hide.
Right. Yeah, true. I feel like anytime you can get to see somebody, it probably helps you out.
Correct. Yeah, I
So you
love it.
still are calling though. So can you discuss your call process? What are you using for dial software? And then are you one call closing these people? Are you setting appointments or is it a blend of both?
I will set appointments. I call off Ringy with the local area code. I'll buy leads in like 25, 26 different states. I like working the coasts, so I can work like later at night or earlier if people need to. The majority of these people, I actually think I did it the other day. The average age on that sheet, you can do like averages on Excel, is like 62. So pretty much it's all going to be like an equity close, like, because it's tough to do term. I mean, you can do term with the younger people, obviously, but 62, it just gets really hard to do any term policy. But back to answer your question, yeah, I just use Ringy. I'll set the appointments, and if they really can't meet, but I can like tell they need it, then I guess we'll go one call close. Some of these people work like multiple jobs, so if I need to, I'll go one call close. Um, if the husband and wife are both there, and I can just feel like they're like kind of warm and it's just easy, I'll do it. But typically, I'll set the appointment. I'll send them like a picture of my like digital business card I made. Lots of people at FFL make them. It just has like the carriers you work with. And then I'll send them my license as well and just be like something super simple. I'll just be like, talk to you at 5. And that's it. And then 35 minutes before, I'll just shoot them a text. And yeah, it's pretty simple. Just trying to sit as many people as I can.
Nice. So I'm looking at your spreadsheet. You got your 25 leads that come in. Are you calling through all of them like multiple times, like right away? Are you spacing that out? What's that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just triple dial them. I just go crazy. I'll try and book as many appointments as I can and just be super like, if they get mad, I'll just be like, "Oh, sorry, it's on a computer. I don't know what happened." Anyways, like we have your age here is X, and they're like, "Okay, cool." But just like any other lead, just triple dial them and set as many appointments as I can. Typically, I try and sit down for like 2, 3 hours and book the evening out and just not do anything else until I'm booked up. If I need to, I'll go back up in the spreadsheet and hit up people that I couldn't get a hold of. But yeah, I just dial through them like a maniac.
Yeah, you naturally answered my next question. What like
Yeah,
4 25 packs ago, do you ever work those? If you have downtime, you'll go back up and run
yeah.
through. Mhm.
100%, or people that you booked an appointment with and like you followed up with and didn't sit. That's the other reason I might look into getting a dialer. Just more time, free up some more time. But
Yeah,
yeah, just I dial the wheels off them. It's just a lead is a lead.
right. And they're exclusive too. So it's like if you
Yeah.
call somebody that's, 40, 50 days old now, um, they probably haven't talked to somebody else unless they're filling out more forms online.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. When you're calling them, setting appointments, can you kind of give me like a rough outline of your script that you're using when you're running appointments?
Yeah, I'll just be like, "Hey, Jared," and I'll just be like, "Hey," and I'll just be like, "Hey, it's Jim. Got the information you filled out about the mortgage protection program. Looks like you listed your beneficiaries X. Get some medical. It's really a feel thing. Watch a ton of YouTube videos on FFL, like that Brittany Smart girl about doing virtual. She was really good. Her and Mark Mead did a podcast. That was super helpful. And there's a few other ones I can't remember, but I'll try and get medical on the first call. Lots of these people are older, retired, don't have a lot going on, so they're kind of just willing and able to give you medical. Some of them are in their 40s or 50s. They're at work, kind of brushing you off the phone. So I'll just be like, "Hey, see, what time you typically off work?" Say off at 4:30, I'll book it for 5:30, give them time to get home and kind of settled in. But yeah, just brief that I don't go too far into it. That's a mistake I used to make. I'd go like too far into the appointment set and it'd be too long. And then it just makes the process way too drawn out. So I'm trying to set the appointment 2.5 minutes, if that, and just get off the phone.
Nice, making sure you time down well and everything.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Cool. So you get them on the phone, you run your appointment. Any carriers that you're using that is kind of a common trend when you're selling these leads?
Yeah, I try and just go Americo, either term or, lots of these are equity closed, so I'll just go U Premier. If they're older, I'll go Aetna, like if you get some 70 or 80-year-olds. And then, I mean, these people are a little older, so you have to do some pivoting around sometimes with health, just because it's an older crowd. But I kind of like that they're an older crowd because their premiums are higher and they have this asset that they've had for a while, which is the home. So they're okay in spending a little extra money to protect it. But mostly Americo, always go Americo first. And I'll go like Aetna or Prosperity if I need to. And then from there, it's kind of up in the air.
Awesome. Hey, speaking of that, do you know like what your average like close size is, like AP?
Ooh, I'd probably say like 130, 140 a month, 120-ish maybe, right around there.
Nice.
I don't love writing massive policies. I mean, unless it's like an IUL or something, but I don't know, The massive ones kind of freak me out. I just like to write a ton of like 120, 130 a month. Just Americo Eagle Premier or Americo Term 125. Just if I can go CBO, but with how housing is, not a ton of people are buying houses, new home buyers. But yeah, like I'd say majority are 120, 130. Just write it consistent and just a hell of those. A
Yeah.
lot of those, just more volume. I like that better. But
Good.
yeah, I mean they're an older crowd, so like naturally, if you're 60 and you're writing Eagle Premier, your premium is going to be at least like 95, $100 a month. So yeah.
About this, you texting the leads at all? Other than your
So I'll
business?
text them when we set the appointment. I send them my credentials and be like, see you at 7. And then 35 minutes before, I'll send them a text like, hey, I'll be reaching out in 35 minutes. Just a brief text. And like in the meantime, scroll for my credentials. Literally stole that off some FFL podcast too. I forget his name, but it's good. It works well. And when I get on the phone, I'm like, hey, did you have a chance to peek at my credentials? They're like, oh yeah. We saw them. It just helps the credibility, in my opinion, especially if you're not on Zoom, they can't see you. Um, I'll do crank wheel too and just like share my screen when we're in the e-app. I think that helps. It definitely doesn't hurt. And I text them. I should get better at texting with like drip campaigns. I don't do any of those. Maybe I'll look into doing that. I know some people who've had success with that, but literally just text them when I set it. And then 35 minutes before I reach out, I'll shoot them a text. And at least if they're not going to be there, it gives them a chance to reschedule.
Yeah, easy enough. What's your show rate? Ballpark.
50 to 60%.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's good. Lots of them reschedule though with these especially. Because they a lot of times they reference like a video they see. And they're like, yeah, it's really important. I know how to do it. And they'll text me to reschedule. And the people that reschedule, I mean, it's pretty solid if you get them there when they reschedule, because it means it's pretty important. But the ones that aren't showing, I get a lot of reschedules. I've worked other leads and the people who don't show don't reschedule. But these are, I like that a lot of them who don't show are good about rescheduling.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. So let's just say we have an agent that's working these leads right now, or somebody brand new that's coming in to work them. Any like, back of the napkin tips for them? Like these are the couple things that you need to do to make sure you're successful here.
I would say dial them a lot. That was a big thing, like really, really dial them because they are an older group. So they get a lot of, like, if you're over 60, you probably get a lot of calls, Medicare, Medicaid, everything, you know? Um, so I would say dial them more than you think would be my advice. Other than that, I can't really think of a lot of other advice just because I haven't worked a ton of mortgage protection. This has been only like one of the only lead sources I've used. So I would say with these, just dial them more than you think because they're an older crowd. So lots of people are calling them for lots of other junk. So yeah, that'd be my advice. I can't think of anything other than that.
Yeah, like what I'm thinking from your perspective too, at least what I've seen on my end, like you buy a lot more leads than most people.
Yeah.
Like, has that played a crucial role? Like, were you originally buying just a 25 pack here and there, and then you kind of ramp that up, and that's when you started seeing the strong?
Yes. Yeah, I would buy like one or two a week and I got decent return. I'm newer to mortgage protection, so I wasn't as good as it at it. So I'm like, okay, well, I have to buy more leads if I'm not as good. And then I just got more experience. Because just a lot of it's an equity close. Like equity protection give you, year and a half, a year, 6 months just to get the house cleaned up, listed and sold. And I'd literally just copy videos I saw on YouTube of FFL. There was one of like John Wetmore who did an equity close, just kind of copied what he said. And it's kind of just like, just duplicate what everyone else is doing. And I had success with it. So I think when I learned to talk to the older group of people, I had more success and it just took me more reps just to get it down. But yeah, I'll buy more leads if I have to. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you're the man. I appreciate all that today. I learned a bunch from this, so I appreciate it. And
Yeah, thank you for having me.